What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to Let's Metal. It's time for another rock metal update. That's right. This is going to be a 7-inch rock and metal update. I got a huge, and I mean a huge stack of 7-inch vinyl recently. I came across a collection online of a lot of promo singles and jukebox singles, and I went nuts. Now, not all this is from that, but yeah, so I'm going to have to cruise through this. Now, if you've watched my channel for more than one time, you probably know that I am a huge Aerosmith fan and a huge Aerosmith collector. Anything Aerosmith, but especially the 70s. And I'm always showing Aerosmith singles as part of my 7-inch updates because there's just so many of them, and you can get them from so many different covers and so many different versions from all over the world. And so that's what this first stack is. So I'm going to go quickly through these because I don't want to bore anybody. But this is Sigo Sonando, or Dream On, backed with Alguien, I think that's how you say it, or Somebody. So this is a Spain single from the first album on the CBS label. So 1974 on that one. Really cool. I love the the Spanish version of the titles. Plus it's got the nice picture sleeve. And then this is a Japanese pressing of Back in the Saddle. I'm getting close to getting all the Japanese pressings of all the Aerosmith, at least the 70s through the early 80s stuff. Again, Japanese singles are interesting because they always come with these paper sleeves like this with the Japanese lyrics in the back, and then they usually have a record company sleeve like this. That is, it's got the hole punch in it, but it's usually only on one side, which this one does. It's just flipped over. Again, it's on the CBS Columbia label. So we got Back in the Saddle and Sick as a Dog, two 70s heavy songs from Aerosmith. Cool picture cover. Alright, here's some of those ones I got in that. So this is Back in the Saddle, white label radio promo. You got the stereo and the mono versions of Back in the Saddle in the original Columbia sleeve. This is a US pressing, just a normal US pressing sold in stores of A Home Tonight and Pandora's Box. Not a huge seller or a huge hit for the band. So this one doesn't pop up very often, so it's cool to find that one. Skipping to 1977, this is Kings and Queens, backed with Critical Mass. And you're probably saying, don't you have Kings and Queens on a single? Yes, but I did not have this particular US pressing of it in the Columbia sleeve, so now I do. This is another one from the same album, from the same album, 1977, Draw the Line. This is a white label promo radio single for Get It Up. Again, stereo and the mono versions. Just not something you see very often, especially for a song. This was not one of the big hits off that album. This was a semi-hit. Back in the day, you heard Kings and Queens on the radio a bit, and then the main song, Draw the Line, the title track, but you never heard Get It Up, which is just a great speedy track. Skipping to the next album, this is Remember, Walking in the Sand from Night in the Ruts, and it's backed with Bone to Bone, Coney Island Whitefish Boy, and this too is a white label radio promo. Now this one is a UK pressing, sent to stations in the UK. This is a Canadian pressing of Chip Way at the Stone. Again, I'm showing lots of versions of Chip Way at the Stone. It was pressed as a single a few different times. First, it was pressed around the Night in the Ruts era as a single and not released on that album or any other album. Then later on down the road, it was released on the Gems record, the studio version that is. It was live on live bootleg, but again, the studio version was only released as a single. But this here happens to be a version that was released to promote the Gems record. And like I said, Canadian pressing, backed up with a live version of SOS, which is kind of cool. Kind of an exclusive live version on the single. Staying in the Aerosmith family, this is a white label promo stereo pressing of Let the Music Do the Talking, Joe Perry's first solo album when he left Aerosmith in 1979. And that would have been probably what, 1980. This is, I think, 1981 or 82. but this is Whitford St. Holmes. So you've got Brad Whitford, guitarist from AEROSMITH, with Derek St. Holmes, singer for Ted Nugent, teaming up to put out their Whitford St. Holmes album. They ended up putting out 2 albums over the years, but this was from the very first one, and I believe it was 81 or 82. And again, this is a stereo radio promo single. Still AEROSMITH. I'm going as quickly as I can through the AEROSMITH. Only 5 minutes in, so I'm doing all right. What It Takes from the Pump album, Monkey on My Back, US pressing in the Geffen Records sleeve. And finally, the last in the AEROSMITH bunch. This is also from the same album, The Other Side, Backed With My Girl, from the Pump album. And that's it. I got through the AEROSMITH quickly. So a lot of AEROSMITH in that one. And like I said, I got a lot of those White Widow promos from the same seller, and they were very, very inexpensive. A lot of them were like $2.50 each, which I was really happy to grab. And then if you bought, I think it was if you bought 5, you got 3 free, or you bought 3, you got 2 free. I don't remember what it was now, but yeah. So I was looking for other ones. So some of these others I bought because I bought those AEROSMITH singles, and I got some free ones, and shipping was cheap too. So, all right, next up from Germany, Michael Schenker Group. This is I believe a German pressing, picture sleeve. So you've got Armed and Ready, backed with, what is the back of this thing? Bayou, I'm not even going to try to say it again. Just look and see for yourself. I'm trying to get rid of the glare. Michael Schenker Group, early 80s heavy metal after he left UFO. A huge fan of Michael Schenker, huge fan of UFO. And Schenker was also in this band I'm going to show next for a short spell. This is the Scorpions. This is a Uli Roth era single from Germany, and these things are like gold. They're just impossible to find for decent prices. And I snagged this one for more than I'm usually willing to pay for a single, I'll admit that. But yeah, it was around $20, which again, that's a little much for a single, but you know, it's Uli Roth era Scorpions, and I just bought it with a bunch of others, so I ended up getting, you know, the shipping down for it, so it became worthwhile. Anyhow, there you go, picture sleeve single for He's a Woman, She's a Man, and Suspended Love, Uli Roth era Scorpions. This is one I got in that lot of all the promo and singles. This is KEEL. This is Tears of Fire on the A side, and the heavier metal track, The Final Frontier, on the B side. There's picture sleeve versions of this too, but I believe those are all European. This is the US pressing, and again, this was a jukebox version. Very clean though, very good condition. This too was a jukebox single for RATT, Round and Round, backed with The Morning After. I do like RATT. I do like pop metal. I do like thrash metal. Matter of fact, I just saw lots of them live this past weekend. They're fantastic. I like death metal, so just like what I like. You don't like pop metal? Don't listen to it. All right, this is a promo single for Twisted Sister's Hot Love. Again, another one of those bands that I collect just anything by. I've been a fan since I was a kid, since they were a demo band. And if I find anything unusual that I don't have from them, I buy it. And this one was in that lot, and it was in good condition, and $2 or $3, I snagged it. Same with this one. Another one of those bands I buy anything by. This is a jukebox single for Kiss. US pressing of Forever, Back to the Street Giveth, and the Street Taketh Away. And it actually has a couple of these have this jukebox, I don't know what those things are called, but the little jukebox slip inside of them, which I always kind of like. I have several of those jukebox singles like that. All right, some Canadian stuff I picked up. This is from a different person I picked these up from. This is a band you never see in the U.S. and pretty much nobody knows here for some reason, but this is the HEADPINS from their first album, and this is a picture sleeve single. Female vocalist, straight up hard rock, kind of like edgier Heart. You know, if you listen to Barracuda, this is not far off from a song like Barracuda, so really good. I like the HEADPINS a lot, so this one happened to be in a lot of stuff I was looking for, and I was like, oh, cool. It's just, I love picture sleeve singles, something unusual that you don't see every day, and that's what this is. Canadian pressing. This is a Canadian pressing of a band you never see singles of. In any case, this is Max Webster with Kim Mitchell on guitar. This is Blue River Liquid Shine, backed with Czech, which I believe was from the last Max Webster album before they called it quits and did the solo thing. So there you go. And this is definitely an original record company sleeve, but it's a Canadian pressing. I've seen these Canadian sleeves before. It actually says printed in Canada on the back there. Another one in the same sleeve. Now this one I don't know if it's in the correct sleeve. I can't find any information about this. The seller claimed this was the sleeve that it came in. I go online and look around and I see this thing in 3 or 4 different sleeves, so I just don't know. But this is Rocky Mountain Way Triumph covering Rocky Mountain Way, backed with a little Texas shaker. Again, just a cool early an early cool Triumph single. And I got trouble on the brain, actually. I've been thinking about Eric Wagner. He's in the hospital with COVID and not doing well and pneumonia, and so anyhow, I've just been thinking about him a lot and really hoping he pulls through. So, but anyhow, that has nothing to do with this record. But yeah, I like it. It's a Canadian pressing on the Attic label. I've never seen an Attic sleeve, so I don't think there is one. Perhaps Attic was at the time in Canada being distributed by WEA. That would be my assumption. But in any case, Triumph. Canadian pressing of Blue Oyster Cult. This is the A side is Shooting Shark, back with Dragon Lady in the Canadian sleeve, Canadian CBS sleeve. Now this is a US pressing. This was actually one that was given to me by my good buddy John Carcass Fossum, and this is Kansas Song for America. As you know, we lost one of the members of Kansas recently. Backed with Lonely Wind, original Kirshner sleeve, which is cool because you don't see those company sleeves around very often. This is an unusual one. This is DeGarmo and Key Streetlight. New single, Every Moment. Picture sleeve. You definitely don't see DeGarmo and Key stuff very often. I just showed DeGarmo and Key in my last update, and I'm not a huge fan of their 80s stuff. I like some of it. It's not, nothing I dislike. It's just kind of 80s pop rock. I like a lot of 80s pop rock. I just don't necessarily collect it. But I really enjoyed their first 3 albums, the 78, 79, and the 80 album. And I happened to run across this one for a good price, so I'm like, let's check this out. Why not? So, again, this is 80s era, DeGarmo and Key. And the first song on here, the single called Every Moment, is definitely got that 80s sound with the 80s keyboard. But the B-side, Soldiers of Fortune, is a really good, heavy hard rock AOR type song, just straightforward rock and roll, and really dug it. Cool single. I don't know if it's I don't know if it was sold to the public or not. It may be a promo single. It is a white label. Doesn't mean it wasn't sold to the public, but I just don't know much about this particular single. I just thought it was cool to see a DeGarmo and Key 7-inch picture sleeve single, so I snagged it. This is another one that came from that same person that was selling the promo singles and the radio jukebox singles, but this is Whitesnake, Fool for Your Lovin', backed with Slowpoke Music in the original David Geffen Records sleeve. Alright, this one was really cool find. I actually have a repressing of this in an Angel box set, but this is Flying with Broken Wings. Original German pressing of this and the picture sleeve on the Casablanca label. And here's the Casablanca center label. Yeah, that one was a really cool find. You don't see Angel singles very often. When you do, they usually, especially if you see them on eBay or places like that, they usually sell for quite a bit of money, and I've got this one for a really good price. Ted Nugent, Land of a Thousand Dances, another one of those bands like Aerosmith that I collect anything by. I'm always looking for odd, pressings and stuff, and this is just a cool German pressing of this. I have other pressings of this particular song, but it was cool to find this one. This is Ted Nugent as well. This is Tied Up in Love. You got me tied up in love, babe. Anyhow, backed with Lean Mean, Rock and Roll Machine. This was 80s Ted when he was on Atlantic Records. A little more clean, streamlined Ted Nugent sound. Tied Up in Love should have been a huge hit for the Nugent, but it really wasn't that big of a hit. But it's a great hooky song with a great riff. And then the B-side is just raw, mean, nasty Ted Nugent as you expect him to be. Lean Mean, Rock and Roll Machine should just, the title of the song pretty much tells you. And this is a UK pressing of that There are picture sleeve versions of this that I have, and a US pressing too. More Nugent related, this is a Canadian pressing. Again, a lot of these are Canadian pressings. I bought these from the same person. Come Again, and this is a radio pressing. And this is a US pressing of the damn Yankees. This is Double Coyote and Silence is Broken in the US. No, actually, is this a Canadian sleeve? No, this is a US pressing, yeah. This is a US sleeve and US pressing. So that's all Nugent, just in case you're worried. This next band, there's quite a few here, so I'm going to have to go quickly. I've still got quite a bit to show here. So, all right. This is, I believe, a UK pressing. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. European pressing, how's that? I Want You to Want Me. Back with Lookout from the Live at Budokan record. Picture sleeve. Cheap Trick, another one of those bands, especially their 70s stuff. I'm always looking for stuff unusual by them. This is Stop This Game and Who the King. Cheap Trick from 1981, I believe. George Martin producing. US pressing, original Epic sleeve. This is cool. This is one of those ones I've always been wanted, but just never did have, and stumbled across a copy for a good price and snagged it. So this is the Heavy Metal soundtrack. This is a single from the Heavy Metal soundtrack. 2 songs from Cheap Trick, Reach Out and I Must Be Dreamin'. This is prime Cheap Trick from the early 80s. This is definitely before they went to the more clean, poppier sound in the mid 80s. This is, you know, kind of the power pop sound that they were known for on those first, you know, 3, 4, 5 albums that they did. Great stuff from them. Cool picture sleeve. Glad to have that one. This one came from that guy who was selling the jukebox singles. This is Wherever Would I Be and Busted. And this is definitely a poppier mid-80s Cheap Trick and does have the jukebox slip inside of it, as does the next one. This is Can't Stop Falling Into Love and You Drive, I'll Steer. Again with the slip inside of it. Both US pressings, both very clean. Alright, moving on. I still got a few here. This is another band that I look for anything unusual by. I have everything by them. This is a promo version radio pressing of Power Play by Molly Hatchet. Stereo on both sides. And then we've got US pressing Alice Cooper. Again, came from the same seller. A very clean copy of Alice Cooper, House of Pain, backed with Ballad of Dwight Fry. And I have several picture sleeve versions of this. This is the first one I got in the Epic sleeve. Alright, and then I've got 3 more to show here, all in picture sleeves. The next 2 are, well, you'll see. This is I believe this is a US pressing of the Teenage Idol by Blackfoot with a picture sleeve, which is very cool. Didn't even know this existed. I stumbled across this and I was like, oh, right on, gotta have that. Love this band. And you can see it's on the original ACO label. Hang on a second, I need to get it back in the sleeve correctly. There you go. Well, then I also picked up this version at the same time. This is actually a promo version, and a radio promo version. It's got the picture sleeve, but it's Teenage Idol on both sides, and they're both stereo versions, so it's got the same song on both sides, and it's got a different label on it. I know it's corny, it's, you know, to have 2 of the same thing, but they are not the same thing. They have one's clearly different than the other, not just the labels, but it's 2 different pressings altogether. So I was really happy to find those. Blackfoot stuff, just, yeah, you don't see singles from them very often. And then finally, this one is actually 100% metal. This is a new release from a new band. I've been waiting for this one to come out. I was stupid excited about it. But this is Pulverazor. And I had to show this one on the Metal Roundtable, which is a show I do on Tuesdays, metalroundtable.com, if you're interested. And this was only 50 copies of this press. This is 10 of 50. Came with the patch, as you can see. Really nice packaging. This is definitely straightforward heavy metal, very, you know, Man-O-War, power metal sounding, you know. They don't sound like Man-O-War, but they got that, you know, it's just, you can just tell they're all about true power metal, you know. That's kind of what they're all about. Anyhow, really nice packaging. It's got an inner sleeve. Came with a patch. Has an insert, which is signed by the band. Black vinyl, custom center labels. Really cool. I picked this up directly on the band's Bandcamp site. So Pulverazor, Check them out if you're interested in that. I don't know if there's any copies left, but if you're into the new wave of traditional heavy metal sound bands, these guys are, that's their thing, and this is well worth picking up. So there you go. That's my rock and metal update, all 7-inch. Hope you appreciated that. I went through as quickly as I could, and I appreciate you all standing in there with me and watching. Comments below are always appreciated. I love talking music with all you guys. That's it. God bless. Stay strong.